Ford Mach-E.
Yeah, because his wife is buried in this thing. They said they should have leased it, but
They bought it.
I regret buying my Tesla. Never thought I would say this, but it messed up today.
If anybody needs to be defluenced from buying an electric vehicle, let me tell you how much my tags are.
Okay, so today we're going to be taking a look at people who regret buying their electric vehicles. Now this is for many, many reasons. We have a lot to go over today, so I'm not going to make the intro too long. We also have comments from you guys from previous videos, so if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's just jump right into the clips.
I don't like to consider myself a hype beast or anything, but I bought into the hype of the electric cars finally. You know, everyone's like, oh, you're going to save money on gas. You're going to have to beat the traffic. You know, it's so quick. These charging stations are out of control. So I pulled into this charging station at 66%, okay? You know, I heard a fast charging station. 15 minutes. Let me tell you something. I'm at 89 now, and I've been here for almost 15, 16 minutes. Thank God my car is going to be ready to 100% in 40 fucking minutes. Not only that, $18.45 it's costing me. I could have went to a gas station, ate gas station food in their bathroom, came back, listened to a whole album, and still got to where I had to go quicker.
And you didn't look up any of this stuff before you decided to buy one of these cars? Just walked right into the dealership, signed on the dotted line, and had no idea that this was the case? Both knowing how long it takes to charge these vehicles, especially to 100%, and that you have to pay for this charging as well. I feel like there are many people out there that just think the electricity is free just because it's not gasoline. This is a pretty common problem throughout a lot of clips on social media, and it goes very well with a comment from one of you guys. I spent 2 weeks researching a push mower I wanted, and these people are impulse buying 5 to 6 figure EVs. And I guess they have no idea what they're getting into.
Whoever thinks that they want a Tesla, they don't. It's the worst mistake of my life. I've had it for like, I don't know, like a month or two. And I literally have to charge it at a charging station every single day because I don't have a charger at my house. I'm over it.
Again, I'm kind of repeating from the first clip. You didn't do any research? What do you think you'd be able to do? Just plug it into an outlet in the house and it'd be fully charged? Another comment here, people buying EVs and not being able to charge at home is wild. I agree. I think that should be researched and budgeted into the overall cost of the car, but we'll talk about that in a second. We'll just go over to the next clip with another common misconception I've seen with these EVs.
I regret buying my Tesla. Never thought I would say this, but it messed up today. The screen has stopped working. We'll just have to send in for a service request and see what can be done.
So I've seen a lot of comments on social media talking about EVs, saying that it's so much easier to maintain compared to a gas car. There's not nearly as much maintenance, no oil changes. However, some people also start believing that this car would have no issues as well, zero maintenance. You'll have no problems while owning this car, and that's just not true. Obviously, these vehicles have a lot of tech and electronics, and if you've seen any of my videos talking about modern cars, whether it's gas or EV, there is a plethora of problems happening with almost every manufacturer. So yes, you'll probably have less maintenance in an EV compared to a gas vehicle, but that doesn't mean it's immune to any maintenance or electrical problems whatsoever.
The F-150 Lightning, Wall Street Journal reported this week that Ford is likely going to cancel it. Ford has not communicated this. They have not confirmed this, but a story like that at Wall Street Journal is pretty well sourced. But boy, the electric truck didn't last, did it? Ford Lightning owner Tyler Hoover.
So I bought it and I put a Model A pickup truck on a trailer, aluminum trailer, very light, and just tried to tow it 30 or 40 miles up and back on a full battery. And it is in wintertime. It almost didn't make it, not even 100 miles, towing a very light load. And I just made a video talking about it and saying this doesn't make any sense for any kind of use for anybody using a truck.
I remember. This is a big
deal. The
deal.
amount of news coverage that got.
The facts that came out of that video are a real reason why this truck has not been successful.
And it's the cold weather's especially bad on these because they don't do any kind of battery heating with them.
I'm not surprised that this is happening. This is getting canceled. It seems like a niche use case. Even in California, I don't see that many of them.
Now with this specific example, the pickup truck EV market, it honestly has not done well. Some of them are wildly overpriced in the 6-figure range, just out of the budget for a majority of normal people, and then we could start talking about the overall range. It kind of sounds like some people don't look this up in the first place, but these batteries' performance varies greatly, especially if you're in cold weather. Doesn't matter if it's a big pickup truck or a normal size sedan, you're most likely going to have less range than what's advertised. Just another thing people don't consider and then later end up regretting. And sounds like that's one of the reasons for the cancellation of the F-150 Lightning. But let's go over to the home charging station.
buyer's remorse of a Tesla. I've owned two now. This is a Model 3 and we also have a Model Y. Let me tell you some buyer's remorse, some things I regret not knowing. Well, I had no idea how much it cost to install a charger or my options at home. Most people charge at home. If you can't, there's plenty of superchargers. The cost is going to vary depending on the distance away from your electrical box. And that is because the cabling that they use is expensive. And the further away you go, from where you install the charger from the box, the higher the cost.
Okay, so I don't know how to put this a different way because it seems like I'm just going to say the exact same thing over and over in this video, but there was no research done. You have two electric vehicles. You didn't know what the cost of an at-home charger would be before you ended up purchasing probably close to 6 figures worth of vehicles. I don't really know what to say other than that. The first comment from you guys is pretty spot on with a lot of these people's problems. But we'll move on to some of the insurance costs.
So this guy went to insure his Cybertruck and he was quoted $400 a month. And then he was told he was underquoted and the person who underquoted him was fired and it was actually supposed to be $800 a month. He was like, you mean $800 for 6 months, right? And State Farm said, no, $800 per month. So you'll be paying $9,600 per year. Someone else chimed in and said Geico dropped their Cybertruck coverage completely and now they're paying $600 a month with Progressive. Another person said that Progressive refused to cover their full self-driving, which is like a $6,000 purchase in the event that their Cybertruck was totaled. A company called Hanover Insurance is dropping the Cybertruck completely, including for people that have had 0 accidents ever. They said that we are unable to adequately rate and underwrite this vehicle. Also, it looks like Geico is now refusing to cover the Cybertruck at all and has terminated all existing Cybertruck policies, saying it doesn't meet our underwriting guidelines.
Okay, so we'll go over to the comments before I say anything. It actually beat the record for worst safety and reliability rating since the Ford Pinto, which was legendary at how unsafe it was. You know a vehicle is great when insurance companies just say no, and this is obviously just for the Cybertruck. You're driving a dumpster on wheels, a very odd looking truck with sharp edges, could probably do a lot of damage in an accident, but we've seen other examples on this channel with electric vehicles just having higher insurance in general. I remember one where a guy was flipping out because he just got a Tesla Model Y, nothing crazy, and it was $600 or $800 a month for that vehicle that I think was around the $50,000 mark. Obviously still expensive, but nothing insane now. So yet again, another thing you need to consider before purchasing, and here's another one.
If anybody needs to be defluenced from buying an electric vehicle, let me tell you how much my tags are. I'll give you a second to guess. Whatever you guessed, probably wrong. $560. The electric vehicle tags cost more than the regular gas tags. It's because when you fill up your car with gas, embedded in the price of the gas is gas tax, and that tax goes towards the roads. So to make up for you driving your electric vehicle on roads without paying your fair share of gas tax, your plate renewals are much higher. Much higher.
And one of the big reasons that I've seen people purchase EVs is that they run through gas so much, it's so expensive. But you still have to pay to charge your vehicle as well, along with these extra fees. We could go over to the comments though. Not true, my tag for my EV is $75 for 2 years. The cost is tied to your state, each one does it differently. Some have a set price for registration and some tie the registration to the vehicle value. And there's a response. Yeah, I just got it renewed in Michigan. My F-150 was $250 and my Model Y was $460 after the EV fees. Each state does things differently, so it was true. I looked this up as well. EV plates often cost more because most states have special higher registration fees to offset the gas tax. It does depend on what state you live in, but another thing you have to take into account before you purchase. And up next we have another big one, a rude awakening for most people, especially if you bought it during COVID.
Well, if you are like me, one of the suckers that bought an electric vehicle, well, bad news for you. The whole EV market has crashed. I lost nearly $40,000 on that car right there, and you might be in the same situation if you bought yourself an electric vehicle. Well, coming from the mouth of a guy that drove across the country in an electric vehicle, what happened is the infrastructure just isn't there. I have so many videos on that. That's not what this video is about. This car was worth a ton of money when I bought it. It's more expensive to buy an electric vehicle than an internal combustion engine vehicle because it's more expensive to build a car like this. And unfortunately, it comes with a lot of headaches as well. Now, you don't have to go buy a premium vehicle. You get a Chevy Volt, which is an also electric car. Nevertheless, the charging infrastructure outside of your own home is really, really difficult. And it's not as reliable as one would hope it had been, and it's not. And sadly, people are starting to realize that it's just less expensive to go buy myself a gas engine Audi than it is to go buy myself an electric Audi or an electric Chevy or an electric Ford. So much so that Toyota has said it themselves that they don't even want to build all electric cars. They go hybrid.
Okay, so there's a few things to talk about. It really depends on what type of electric vehicle or gas vehicle you're purchasing, because if you end up getting an Audi EV, of course it's going to be expensive. They have the luxury name and the nice interior and all the electronics, which bring in a hefty price tag. I still remember realizing in an older video looking at one of these Audi e-tron GTs that the nice trim level that was super fast and fancy was $166,000. But on the other hand, you could go buy some Cadillac Escalade that's like $180,000 as well. So the EV versus gas prices on the cars really do depend. I have heard a lot of issues with the infrastructure across the country, especially in the US. I bet it's way different in Europe because everything's much closer than it is in the States. But regardless, if you buy a new vehicle of any kind, you're most likely going to take a heavy depreciation hit. It seems like EVs are worse than others though. We'll see some examples later, but we could take a look at some of the comments. New cars are not an investment. They're literally always losing value. It's not just EVs. Anyone that bought any car a couple years ago lost their shorts. Used car values are in the gutter compared to this last time. And we have a comment from you guys that goes, well, I couldn't imagine buying a depreciating asset and then being shocked that it indeed depreciated. And some people are so upset that they want out of the deal completely. They're going to trade in their car, get something else, and then when they go over to the dealership, they realize how much value it's actually lost.
There is no used car market for EVs. We as salespeople, Tesla included, need to do a better job of explaining to people that when you buy an EV, you have to understand that the market on it, when you trade it in or try to sell it privately, is not going to be there. EVs are the only vehicles where what KBB is saying, what Edmunds is saying, what all of those online trade value things are saying is not real because they don't sell. A 5-year-old F-150 still has a 36-gallon tank. Doesn't work the same way for an EV. 5 years later, that battery might have lost 25% of its life. I get it. It goes against everything we were taught, but we really are shooting ourselves in the foot when they come back and try to trade it, and they're shocked that they're not even at half what they paid for the car 2 years later. You need to lease them and make it the dealership's problem.
So it does really seem like the secondhand market on EVs are just not there. In turn, that means your car is going to have even less value than the depreciation hit that you already took. And most of the time now, that means people are severely underwater. And we have a perfect example of that right here.
Ford Mach-E. Yeah, because his wife is buried in this thing. They said they should have leased it, but they
bought it.
I told them, us as a dealership, we give you that information. I'm assuming they didn't tell you how this market usually plays out.
You never know. They might have. We've had a few people that have insisted on buying electric cars despite our pleading that they not. So this has got a bad Carfax. And so what do they owe on this?
Oh, it's bad. Oh, it's really bad.
How bad? This doesn't even have all-wheel drive?
Knocked off like a bunch for that.
Yeah, $1,500.
Current payoff, and this is what he gave me. We still have to pull it, but about 48 grand.
So he's like 31 grand upside down?
Yeah, they know they're 30K flip. They know it's a nightmare. But then I just reached out to him over the weekend and just said, hey, I don't know if you guys have thought about it lately, but with this promotion ending, I'd love to just give it another shot, see if it's something that works for you guys. So we're looking at potentially burying it into that EQE. I think they're going to just be willing to accept that their payment's going to go at least near $1,500 minimum.
Okay, we got a bit to say about this one. I mean, I guess to each their own, but the Mach-E is just an ugly vehicle overall, let alone being $30,000 underwater, owing almost $50,000, and then they decided to go over to a Mercedes dealership to get out from this deal. I know what they're doing. It's a lease deal with the EQE, which is another electric vehicle, that to get out from being in all of this debt, they're going to pay $1,500 a month for. I'm at least glad that they're not buying any of the Mercedes EVs either. They're all anchors at the dealership. Nobody wants them. They're wildly overpriced. But as he said earlier in the clip, there are some people that are just hard-headed. They're set in their ways. You could tell them it's a bad idea, but they're still going to do it anyway. We have another comment from one of you guys here. I work in a hospital, and like every other doctor or nurse, they drive a Tesla. Many of them had said that charging is an issue. They also said that when they bought it, they thought they would charge it at work. I think many people who either don't or can't install the home charger wherever they live thinks the exact same way. But the problem is everyone plans to charge it at work. And those people become the charging station Karens that remove EV charger cables, break them off in people's cars, which removes them from service for everyone. Then the hospital drops another $2,000, yes, $2,000 to fix the charger, and the entire thing starts over again. This is actually crazy. I'm not even halfway through all the clips that I've collected. We just need to start running through them so this video isn't super long.
Do not buy an electric car. I'm just going to vent a little bit right here. Electric cars are good for tooling around town, but forget going on any trips with these. It took us 8 hours on a 4-hour trip to get to Indianapolis. The things are broken. Charging stations are broken. We went to a charging station that was broken, so we're like, oh, we'll go to the next one, which was at a Nissan dealership, and buying a Nissan, they said you could charge at their places, but guess what? When we got to Nissan dealership, it was broken too. So where did I end up? At a Hyundai dealership. Charged there, did a fast charge. It took like 30 minutes, got it fully charged. We drove for, 120 miles, got to the next Hyundai dealership, got on the expressway again for about 120 miles. We get to the next location. Nissan here does not have a liquid-cooled battery. I didn't know that. No one told me that when I got this car. But they have an air-cooled battery. So that means if you do a fast charge and get on the expressway and heat that battery up, so eventually when you get to a next fast charger, it will not charge it fast at all. It's very hot. The battery is so hot it won't take the charge.
I feel like I could have told you that a Nissan Leaf probably isn't great for cross-country road trips. And they weren't even doing that. It was only a 4-hour ride, but 120-mile range, let alone all the time wasted even with the fast charger, 30 minutes extra. You can't just constantly go from charging to driving. It overheats the entire battery. Just another thing that was not researched before purchasing the vehicle, I guess. I'm honestly just a broken record now. But the persisting issue with a lot of these charging stations being broken is a lot more common than I thought.
We're back on the road in our EV. The first charging stop we have this morning, Electrify America, is not working. Probably related to AWS being down. But it got me thinking, with all of this modern technology, we need conventional backups. These EV charging stations are all touchscreen, app connected. We need a conventional card reader who can swipe your card and get charging, get it back on the road. It's also why I will always keep a conventional gas car in my garage, even with how much I love EVs.
And there's another problem right there. If you remember a few weeks ago, AWS was down, which turned into a lot of websites being down in general. I guess that included some charging stations as well. Obviously, if there's any power outages in areas because of storms or whatever other reason, you're going to have issues with charging as well. It just really is insane to me how many different clips like this I've seen online.
I believe you did a deal with my wife after we went all through this stuff. She goes, that's the same guy that sold me my car.
I remember you guys. Yeah, of course.
I got a huge puzzle for you to solve, and I don't know if it's going to be solvable or not.
We'll see.
I bought a Genesis GV60. I love electric cars. I travel like 66 miles a day, and it's saving me a lot of money on gas. But I purchased it at the height. I just wanted to get the electric car because I was going through gas like nobody's business. Absolutely love it. It's just that the payment is out of control. It's $938 a month. It's been 3 years now, and it's like, all right, let me see if I can do anything. I do have a lot of miles on the car. The value left in the car, even when I go to Carvana and that stuff, it looks like it's around 17, 18. I still owe 39 on the car. I spent all the money putting the electric outlet, but I don't need to have a fancy electric car. I need a commuter electric car if there's such a thing.
You're 20 grand upside down, essentially, right?
Yep.
That alone is a $550 payment. If we were to roll that into a new car lease, which is the only thing I'll recommend doing, how many years do you have left on your finance?
About 32 months.
All that to save money on gas, being upside down $20,000, and also picking a Genesis EV, paying almost $1,000 a month without the insurance, all to save money on gas. It does not make sense to me.
Don't buy a new electric car. For 55 grand, Tesla Model 3 Performance has a killer 0 to 60 time. I don't think there's any other car in the market that can actually achieve that. But would you still buy the car if you knew that it's going to be worth 40% less within the first year? That's not the only example. I mean, we have Lucid Air Grand Touring. That's a $100,000 car brand new, and within 2 years, it's worth about half. The crazy thing is, a lot of times people would think, hey, you know what? If I buy a brand new car, I get a $7,500 rebate here, I get free charging for a few months, I get little trinkets here and there, but I think all of those free things that you get from the manufacturer is peanuts compared to the depreciation that you get within the first few years. You know, I gotta admit, for about $30,000 to have a car that can go 0 to 60 in under sub 3 seconds, it's a pretty good bargain actually.
Now I do want to say, whenever I make these types of videos, I know I just sound like an EV hater. I'm not particularly thrilled with the performance side of those cars. Most of the reason why people love those types of cars is the sound they make, and EVs don't make those sounds. However, if you're talking about a daily commuter and you don't drive that much, the used market might not be that bad of an idea. I personally just don't think the tech is there yet, the infrastructure, the range for most of these vehicles as well. Once they hit 500, 600, 700 miles and you could charge very quickly, I think they'll make a much better case than they are right now. But again, that's my own opinion. If you truly want to buy one, there are quite a bit of vehicles with a lot of incentives right now.
This is a list of vehicles with the largest discount off of their factory MSRP. The Acura ZDX with a current discount between $18,000 and $35,000. The Dodge Charger Daytona EV with an average discount between $20,000 and $32,500. The Jaguar I-Pace currently $20,000 or more off MSRP. The Audi S e-tron currently over $20,000 off MSRP. The Lucid Air currently between $15,000 and $20,000 off MSRP. The Polestar 3 up to $18,000 off MSRP. The Volkswagen ID4 up to $17,400 off MSRP. The BMW i7 up to $16,000 off MSRP. The GMC Hummer EV, both the pickup and the SUV, are up to $15,000 off MSRP. The Kia EV6 up to $15,000 off of MSRP. The Genesis GV60 up to $14,500 off of MSRP.
Okay, so I'm just going to leave the video running because we're only about halfway done, but that GV60 was the previous heavy depreciation hit that we saw of the guy paying almost $1,000 a month for it, and you could get almost 15 grand off MSRP. To me, when I see these types of deals, that means they're not selling. People don't want them. They're not great vehicles. So they're doing everything they can to get these off of car lots.
EV sales. I don't want to harp on this because we've talked about it before and we predicted this would happen. But the tax incentive for EVs ended at the end of last month. It ended at the end of September. Yep. The numbers are absolutely wild. We all knew they would drop. Ioniq 6 sales were down 52%. That car is already a car that was selling pretty lowly. I read that Prologue sales were down 80%.
Wow.
80. The Drive is reporting the following. Subaru Solterra in 25 was about to match its 24 sales total. Right up until October, they sold 10,000 units in 24. So 1,000 a month, I don't know, 800. Last month they sold 13. Nationally.
13.
Wow.
So we are not in COVID times anymore. When everybody had a little bit of extra cash, the chip shortage brought a ton of price increases. The demand for these new cool EVs were through the roof. And now I see videos like this popping up nonstop from dealerships.
This car has been on my lot for over a year, and I literally have no clue why we can't sell it. We've tried everything. We've knocked down the price, and I don't know what it is. This car behind me is a 2024 Hummer EV, and this thing is sick. I mean, just look at these wheels on this thing. All-terrain tires on here. I mean, the car looks great. I don't know what there isn't to like. A lot of great badging on it. You got the Hummer badging, and you also have the American flag up here. I mean, what's more American than an EV? This thing's got over 625 horsepower, and I mean it goes fast. When I say fast, I mean fast. Like head in the back of your seat. This car stickers for $112. It's on sale for under $100. Let me know in the comments. Do you think this is a big enough discount, or do we got to do more?
Okay, before I say anything, let's just go over to the comments because it's an overpriced piece of crap. Nobody wants an EV, and I'm not waiting 7 hours for an 80% charge. I remember when it first came out, people were paying absolutely wild money for these things brand new. And personally, I actually like the way it looks. As ridiculous as it sounds, I don't think it's a bad looking SUV. It looks kind of nuts. I would never buy one, but there is kind of a part 2 to this vehicle as well.
The Hummer's the problem. The charge station's the problem. I have no idea. Fairly easy. We just increased our range to 98 miles after waiting around for 45 minutes. But the real question, how much did it cost? I am actually in shock right now. We just sat here for 41 minutes. It cost me $19.80, and we added an additional 64 miles for $20. It is more expensive to charge an EV, plus we had to sit here for 41 minutes. It's a scam. The whole thing is a scam.
This goes very well with a comment from one of you guys, and sometimes I think filling my tank in a few minutes is a long time. We could go into a ton of different videos of people talking about these same issues.
I gotta keep it real. I think I'm over this EV. I just got off work. Been at work since 5 this morning. Well, 6 this morning. I have to now detour to charge this dumb shit. I'm stuck here. And look how much cars are waiting to charge. Why is there not more charging stations, dude? And I'm stuck here because I don't have enough battery to get home. And the car takes forever to charge.
Another one, no home charging station, and you didn't know this was going to happen before you bought it, and now you're kind of stuck with the consequences, but we go to a different case.
This is your sign to not get a piece of electric car. Do not get an electric car, especially this piece of Kia here and everything. I hope y'all see this because I'm on 2% battery low. Went to these because you got to go to a specific location for your. You can't just go to everyone. And Tesla got all the ones all up and down the place, but you can't go to one. Now I come to this garage, and then the garage is private, and it's in this garage, and it says it's private. The next one is about 6 miles away, and here I am on 4 miles.
Okay, so a few things. You didn't decide to charge it before it was down to 2% battery? Very dangerous game to play there. And I know a lot of people talk about the differences in Tesla and every other EV maker because Tesla's infrastructure seems to be a bit better than everybody else's. But we could go over to the comments. This sounds like a user error. Why get an EV and not research or have a plan on how to recharge? And in that same clip, he was talking about having to get the vehicle towed now to a charging station because he can't make it anywhere. He only had 4 miles. And we could go over to the next clip with somebody else getting towed.
So I've been out here almost 3 hours. No, it doesn't take 3 hours to charge this car, but I had to wait about that long before I could charge it. And I have had like a splitting freaking headache since like 4 or 5 o'clock this morning. Mind you, my car did get towed here. Honda Link slash Honda, whatever you want to call it, has that as part of their little thing for people with electric cars. So I don't pay for anybody to tow my car to the charge station. Luckily, I had started this with about 2% charge. Let me just tell you, 2% charge is about 7 miles, which means your car ain't going nowhere. I've been here 44 minutes, according to Electrify. I have gotten almost 80 kilowatts of power to this car. I really, really am tempted to push it past 80, only because I'm really, really not wanting to go to the charger for a while.
No home charging? And the creator replies, no, I live in an apartment townhouse and they don't qualify for that. You have to qualify for a home charger. I went to 83% and it cost me about $40 or so. We have a comment from one of you guys, whether you love or hate EVs, you have to realize how dumb a majority of these people are. In most cases, it wasn't even the EV, it was buyers doing zero research. And I have to agree as well. Like I said, I'm not an EV hater. I have a normal gas vehicle. I personally just want to sit and wait and see this technology advance even more, but I can't say the same for some of these cases, and then they get in way over their head. I mean, look at how much it costs just to charge this Cadillac.
What happens when you fast charge a 9,000-pound EV with 465 miles? How much is it going to cost? And the most important question, how long is it going to take? The Cadillac Escalade IQ started at 16%. That's 73 miles left. The screen said 2 hours to hit 100%. It still uses CCS, but it is compatible with Tesla superchargers and rated for up to 350 kilowatt. The most I pulled though was only 134 in 70 minutes. I went from 16 to 85% and the bill came out to be $92.93.
Okay then, $92 and 70 minutes later, no thank you. And I know it's a Cadillac, it's supposed to be luxury, everything's more expensive, so we could talk about that a little bit, especially with the brand new EVs coming out.
Check this out. Inside the new Mercedes GLC, you get a 40-inch display that goes across the entire dash, and there's a camera here so you can actually call into meetings from the car. Now this is running on Qualcomm Snapdragon digital chassis, which makes the whole cabin feel like a smart device on wheels with the latest Mercedes software. It's got built-in 5G too, so the car is always connected, whether that's streaming, navigation, or even safety updates in real time. It also has this glass roof with a digital curtain you can open and close how you'd like.
I don't know, all I see are future issues, especially looking at modern cars today. They are not built particularly well, the electronics, the tech breaks all the time, so it legitimately being a smartphone on wheels is going to cost a lot of money, especially it being Mercedes as well. Like, who even needs that passenger airbag? Electric car, Mercedes electric car? No way. Not gonna flush that money in the toilet again, so they got burned. If anybody ended up buying one of those EQSs when they first came out, they were like $115,000. Within just a couple of years, they're selling for around $40,000 now. But we'll go over to the next one, a brand new Jeep EV. What could go wrong?
This is the new EV Jeep, the Jeep Recon. It is a $67,000, 250-mile, dual-motor EV off-roader that's meant to go up against a Rivian, I guess. It has 33.8 degrees of approach angle, 22.3 breakover, 33.1 exit angle, and the doors come off just like any good Jeep does. Interior, really cool mix of Grand Wagoneer and kind of Ram. It's so Stellantis now. Huge 14.5-inch display.
I'm going to see into the future right now. Anybody who buys one of these vehicles is going to regret it down the road. $67,000 for 250 miles, along with it being a Stellantis vehicle, that is a recipe for disaster. My jaw dropped at $67,000 for that Renegade. As a Jeep Gladiator owner, there's absolutely no way I'd have one of these, especially after all the 4xEs got bricked and recalled, which was the Jeep Wrangler hybrids. We've talked about those issues before. Jeep should stay out of the EV market. How come a 10,000-pound Hummer EV could go 320 miles on a charge, but this one only does 250? Some EVs even have 400+ mile range. That's what people want. I don't know how this is going to be a sell to anybody. Honestly, the vehicle overall doesn't look that bad to me. That's just my opinion though. Of course, I'm not purchasing this one either. Jeep bankruptcy speed run, I don't know what they're thinking, but companies are pumping out these vehicles all the time and they're getting more and more expensive. The Cadillac Celeste, I feel like I'm saying that wrong, has officially touched down, and this is supposed to be the ultra luxury EV Cadillac that starts at approximately $340,000 for the 2025 model year. But the 2026 model has a starting price in the low $400K range. I know this is wildly out of touch to basically any of the other clips that we've seen, but this is obviously going to be a fraction of the cost in just a few years' time. Some of the comments, isn't this vehicle $200,000 overpriced? And the creator replies, hand-built luxury, advanced technology, and exclusivity aren't priced like regular vehicles. I don't know, to me it seems like people who are genuinely ultra rich buying Bentleys and Rolls Royces probably aren't going to pick an all-electric Cadillac.
A new study says that nearly half of electric vehicle owners are likely to switch back to gas. That's 46% of U.S. electric vehicle owners are leaning towards switching back to traditional gasoline cars. That's according to the McKinsey & Company survey. Respondents spanning the globe presented a wide range of reasons for switching back, with many saying charging was an issue. 35% cite that public charging infrastructure was not up to par, while 24% stated they could not charge at home, and 21% noted that they worry about charging was just too stressful. For reasons unrelated to charging, 34% reason total cost of ownership were too high, because insurance is higher, and 32% cited long distance traveling was impaired by these vehicles. 16% stated that they would have charged mobility requirements, and 13% stated they did not like the driving experience, which I find interesting. Maybe it's just too quiet.
Before we look at the comments for this clip, I have to say that it's almost like a good amount of the people who bought an electric vehicle did no research on what that entails, being stressed over the charging stations, not being able to charge at your home, the range being limited, so of course long distance drives are going to be a challenge, but to me this seems pretty obvious right from the get-go. We're going to be seeing this a lot throughout this video, but we could take a look at some of the comments. Hybrid, you just can't cold turkey gas. The infrastructure nor technology is there for EVs yet. I agree with that. Now, I know people go crazy over this topic online. It's a lot more divisive than I thought. Some people love EVs and some hate them, and they will go to war in the comments section almost every time. I'm not trying to be a hater in this video when we go over these clips. I don't mind EVs overall. I do agree with the comment. I don't think the infrastructure is there yet, and I'd like to see the technology advance in the future. Once you could get these vehicles to 500 or like 1,000 miles per charge, just absolutely blow gas vehicles out of the water. To me, it'd be a lot more enticing to get one to have a daily driver or commuter. Most are in the 2 to 3, maybe 400 mile range, but that doesn't include air conditioning or using the heat in the car. If it's cold outside, that hurts the battery range a lot too. So overall, I'm saying I'm not an EV hater, but we are seeing a lot of people regretting buying their car.
This is a PSA for anybody considering getting an electric vehicle. Don't. Just don't. That's all I can say. Dumbest I've ever done. Worst decision I've ever made. Pay $1,500 a month for a car that I can't drive because I'm never charged. Because this is modern day Hunger Games. This is Hunger Games. You have to wait for 2 hours to get a charge. People are quite literally fighting at chargers. They're always broken. The infrastructure for these cars is non-existent. I would rather pay $200 for a tank of gas than to ever have to waste my time doing what I'm doing right now. I want to file a class action. I think we should all get together and sue these I'm suing everybody. Suing everybody. Electrify America, ChargePoint, Mercedes, Elon, just because he's weird. All you guys, give me gas. Let's go back to the normal times. Don't get an electric vehicle.
So again, it seems like you signed up for a $1,500 a month payment without doing a lick of research. So you were okay with the ridiculous payment, but you weren't able to get a charger set up at your own house, and then kind of throwing a temper tantrum saying you're going to sue, this isn't fair. It is just pretty funny to see, and we go look at the description. PSA for anyone considering getting an EV. At Mercedes-Benz, so that means she's paying $1,500 for an electric Mercedes, which if you've seen any of the depreciation on them, we will see it a little bit later in this video, is brutal. At Electrify, at Elon Musk, which doesn't even have anything to do with Mercedes. Obviously that's Tesla, but she had a temper tantrum in this video basically. If you can't charge at home, it's not worth it. Charging at home is key. And then she even responds, on Instagram I did a follow-up video saying exactly this. I agree completely. Wouldn't you have thought about this before purchasing the vehicle though? Nope, I guess that just went right over her head. Getting an EV without installing your own charge port is wild. I don't know, this kind of sounds like flexing and getting the newest Mercedes EV on the block, paying $1,500 a month to show off to other people and not realizing everything else you have to do that's different, comparing it to a gas vehicle, and then blaming everyone under the sun instead of being accountable. But either way, we're really starting to see these EVs just tank in value. This is probably one of the worst examples I've seen.
We just sold our Fisker Ocean for just $10,000. We bought this car last year for almost 70 grand, and in that time, with just 7,583 miles in the odometer, it's dropped nearly $60,000, or more than 80% of its value. That means it cost us $7.78 per mile just to drive the thing. It quite literally would have been cheaper to Uber everywhere. We had a ton of problems with the Ocean throughout our ownership experience, so it was only natural for us to have one more before we went to sell it. The car's 12-volt battery died, and the only way to access it was to pry off a panel from the front fascia, remove some screws, and open the hood, using that panel to prop it up since there's no strut, to finally be able to charge the battery. Needless to say, we're not going to miss this one.
Now, like I said, this is probably the worst one I've seen, $70,000 to 10. There are many examples online of people regretting buying their cars, trying to trade it in for a normal gas vehicle again, and realizing that they lost tens of thousands of dollars within a year or two. Not 5 or 10 years. This is happening so quickly. Mercedes EQS is pretty much the same as far as depreciation. We're going to see that a little bit later. Placed a $250 deposit in 2022. Happy I didn't go through with it. That guy really did dodge a bullet. Now we have a comment from you guys when I talked about the modern cars and the lack of quality. If you really want a good deal, buy a 7 or 8 year old electric vehicle. A second generation Nissan Leaf will get you 120 miles of range, and you won't have to worry about the engine or transmission. I mean, this might work if you live in a city. Of course, you're not going to be driving that much, and it is a pretty compact vehicle, so you'd be able to get around a little bit better. But we could take a look at somebody who instantly regretted buying this exact vehicle.
I'm ready to get rid of my Nissan Leaf. I can't. I bought a 2014 Nissan Leaf 5 days ago, y'all. I'm not an electric girl, and that's okay. I already messaged the girl I bought it from. I'm like, look here. I don't have anxiety. Never have, and I pray I never will. But this right here, finding a charger, thinking that I'm gonna have to sit there for an hour, yeah, that gives me anxiety. Let me be serious for a second. And if you're electric girly, please don't come for me in the comments, okay? I love y'all. And I'm over here trying to save the environment too. I got this car very quickly, within hours. The price was great. The lady I was talking to was great. We spoke on the phone, and she's still great.
It's like nobody does any research on anything they purchase ever. It was a good deal, so you bought it within hours, and now have anxiety because you need to go to charging stations to charge an electric car. I feel like I almost completely 180'd from the beginning of this video already, saying that I didn't want to look like an EV hater, and now it looks like I'm defending them all the time because of all the poor choices these people are making. That's what I'm afraid of. My phone stays at 10%. I could just imagine my car. Another one, I got my used Nissan Leaf yesterday. Mine's holding 10 to 20 miles, if that. I got scammed. There were some other clips that I saw with the same vehicle, people having a lot of problems with it. Again, you're talking about around a 10-year-old EV. You're most likely going to have some problems with that vehicle, but we could go over to the next clip.
So about a month in, I finally got an electric car. I had been waiting to do this for a while. I was just so pissed off with the amount I was spending at the gas pump each and every week. And I was like, yo, it's all good. I'm gonna get rid of this gas guzzler. I'm gonna get an electric car. Slow your roll. Here are 3 things you need to know before you get an electric car. See, this whole like miles and range game is kind of fake because my car gets over 300 miles, but if you use all the perks that come along with it, it's going to get a lot less than 300 miles. See, I listen to all these people who drive their electric vehicles like Bill Nye the Science Guy, but if you're a real driver and you're using all the amenities in the car, then the mileage is going to shrink. So pay attention to battery percentage, not the mileage.
Okay, so a couple things to go over. He ended up purchasing this EV because he was so tired of going to the gas station and paying money all the time. So he decided to purchase a BMW iX, which if you didn't know, the MSRP is $87,250. And if you got the iX M60, that starts at $111,500. So you wanted to save money on gas and you decided to buy an almost six-figure or over six-figure BMW to save money. I mean, make it make sense. Then the second thing about the range being a lie, if you use the air condition or the amenities, you're going to get significantly less range than what they're trying to advertise at the dealership, online, in any of their ads. But we could keep going with this clip.
People lie to you and they say, oh, well, if you can charge at home or at work, it's so easy breezy. At home, if you just plugged your car into the wall, that's called a level 1 charge. And that's 120 volts, and it's usually going to take you 40 to 50 hours to charge your car. What you have to do is get a level 2 charger in your house. When you do that, then you can charge your car overnight. Same deal when you go to work. Usually it's a level 2 charger, but we're talking about 6 to 9 hours to fully charge your car. So if you're depending on that, you better have a spot where you can sit, because if you're at one of those places where every 4 hours they make you rotate, then you're not going to get a full charge at work. What I have learned is that when you're looking to charge your car quickly and completely, you want to find a DC fast charging station. See, I thought that, anywhere you went, you just plugged it in and it charged. That's not true. You want to look for some place that has between 150 kilowatts to 350 kilowatts. That's the holy grail, because then you can charge your car in minutes, like 30 minutes, instead of 3 to 4 hours.
But from what many are starting to realize, there are not a ton of them to go around. So you're getting the level 2 chargers and having to sit there all day online in front of other people's cars that are about to die. It really just doesn't seem like a good deal to me right now. We can look at a couple of the comments. Don't forget, when it gets cold, you're suddenly stranded. I can't remember who did the test, but it was a Ford F-150 Lightning that got about half of its advertised range when it was cold out. I mean, maybe if you live in Florida or California and you don't have winter weather, it'll be a better deal, but many of the states all over the country get to below freezing every single year. Hybrid is the best of both worlds. Time is money. Looking for a charging station and waiting 29 minutes to an hour, that adds up. But I guess again, people didn't realize this before they purchased.
TikTok, I'm back at it again. This time, we're charging from 20%. I've been there for 62 minutes, and I'm at $20 almost. With 73%, it says it's gonna stop at 80. I don't have time for this though. I don't have an hour every day to charge my car.
I don't understand why people make such a huge investment with zero research. This is like my burner account. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Here's even more problems people were having.
This is why you own another vehicle. I got home last night, I forgot to plug my car in. So it's like 60 miles right now. There's no charger on it.
Reason 3,469 why I do not suggest getting an electric vehicle, or why I hate my electric vehicle. I have a 2024 Kia EV9, the GT line. And the reason for today is the fact that I forgot that I needed to charge yesterday.
This is the shitty thing they don't tell you about electric cars. When you want to go ahead and charge it, you have to wait at these public charging stations. They all don't actually charge at 350 kilowatts like this car is rated. This is the Ioniq 6, and you have to wait, and these cars are going to take a long time. We're just sitting here. We're behind an ID4 who needs to wait. And now we're just waiting in here. I don't know how long this is going to take.
The dirty little secret is that you might actually have to wait to charge. Oh, I would have never have guessed. A comment saying the exact same thing. Dirty secret, a secret. That's the most known thing about electric cars. Then we could go back to the first clip where the guy said this is why you need 2 vehicles if you own an electric vehicle, which I feel like defeats the purpose. Then you're going to have to spend twice the amount of money on some sort of gas or hybrid car, and then you have your EV. But the description says I need more range at Ford Motor company. I said before I agree with that as well. It'd be a lot more intriguing if you get 500 miles per charge and the charging is a lot faster, but at the same time, you still signed on a dotted line knowing what the estimated range was. So is it really Ford's fault? I don't know. Then we could take a look at a lot of the Tesla chargers compared to the rest of the EVs and the problems with the charging infrastructure.
So here's the 411, okay? I went out and bought this thing for $150. There's a little connector here, so I can utilize the Tesla charging station connector, which is a totally goofy looking one right there, and it fits in that. But I called up Tesla, and what they told me was, I can't charge here. I don't have a Tesla. Anybody else experience this? It's a bunch of right? Frustrated.
So you have specifically Tesla charging stations and then you have everybody else. So you buy some sort of third-party charger to try to use Teslas and you're surprised that it didn't work? I mean, what am I supposed to say? Like, what do you expect? Some of the comments, go to the Dodge charging station. I'm gonna call the gas station and complain that I can't put diesel in my Toyota Highlander. I can't believe someone's bought that weak Dodge Charger. I think that's pretty funny too. I've only seen one on the road in my life so far. I believe they've already canceled it as well. But keeping on the muscle car, sports car EVs, we have a comment right here. Electric car equals no clutch to burn out, exhaust to be replaced, turbo to blow, head gasket to pop, cat converter to be robbed, oil changes to be done, or spark plugs and still has better acceleration. If you go to virtually any car person on the planet, this isn't really the best reason to buy an EV. Having better acceleration isn't the sole reason to buy one of these EVs. Many people like the sound of the engine. Many people like manual transmissions. It feels like you're more in tune with the car. There's a host of other reasons as well, but we can move on to the next clip.
Don't buy electric cars. They are not worth it. They are such a trap. They are just money pits, right? The fact that I already bought my car and now when I'm trying to sell it, it's 15 grand less than what I paid for like a year ago. I mean, that happens, whatever, it is what it is, right? But there isn't the infrastructure. There's no infrastructure for electric cars, right? You try and find a charger, guess what? It's broken. Your car starts bleeping, your car's gonna die. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Because there's no chargers around. Then you have to download this app, then you have to download that app. Like, when I first got an electric car, I can't lie, I done it because I wanted to save the planet, because I was a bit of a eco princess. But now I'm just like, man, this shit. Like, do you know how many panic attacks I've had because I've broken down on the motorway?
Now, her reasoning to buy the EV was to save the planet, which is fine, that's whatever. But many people, especially during COVID, ended up getting the new EVs from all the manufacturers to be able to show off to their friends and family and their neighbors. Look at how nice and fancy and new, and oh, this is electric. You have a gas car? It was basically the Prius episode from South Park, but with EVs, and people did not do the research. I sound like a broken record, it's crazy. Some of the comments, yes, we made a massive mistake buying an EV car. We lost $16,000. The original creator commented, oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. Do you still have it? Which one did you buy? I have the Zoe 2019. It's a 2019 Renault Zoe. Maybe I'm saying that wrong, but they don't sell Renaults in the States. But it's now worth $4,000 when she paid 22 grand. That's rough.
I just found out yesterday that this car is worth $37,000 and I'm paying $900 a month. And on top of that, I've had to charge this car twice in the 3 days that I've had it, because this range is 200 and it is not real miles. I have 150 miles on my car on the odometer and I've had to charge it twice. I love the car, love the interior. It has the... Love that. I just feel like I made a mistake and I feel like I'm about to lose out on a lot of money. $37,000 is not what I was expecting to come off the lot with. No hate towards Lexus, please get that. But I got this car thinking it was a $70,000 car and they were giving me a $20,000 price decrease, and it pushed me to, you know, get the car even more. The fact that I got it appraised at $37,000 doesn't really sit with me the right way. The range, you guys, it's not for my lifestyle. I thought it was true miles. I looked up videos. She told me it was true miles. I'm just sad. I'm distraught. I don't know what to do. I feel like I made a very expensive, big mistake.
So you thought that you were getting one over on the Lexus dealership, the salesman, that this thing was worth $70,000, $20,000 off wasn't a red flag? And of course they push you to sign. That's their job. That's how they get their commission. And as soon as you drove it off the lot, there goes $13,000 instantly. And now you have buyer's remorse. And also paying $900 a month for it too. No way I'd get an electric car if I couldn't charge at home. Buyer's remorse there. You should get a cheaper car. Still going to lose 5 figures. $900 a month. Do you live in it? New cars depreciate like 60%, I've heard. And that's a good transition to what's up on screen right now. Buyers beware. Did you know that EVs depreciate faster than gas cars? Almost 30% faster. Here you could see the 5-year depreciation rate. I mean, we're talking 50 to 60. I mean, the Jaguar I-Pace is 72% depreciation in 5 years. And this is all across the board. We got a whole bunch of Teslas, Nissan, Jaguar, Hyundai, Kia, Porsche, Volkswagen, Chevy. I mean, all of them. I just don't get how you sign on the dotted line without knowing any of this.
What is my regret about being an EV owner? Recently, my wife and I wanted to attend an event. It was approximately 70 miles one way. And our electric vehicle will get, at best, on a full charge, about 150. And then when you start running air conditioner because it's warm, it's a lot less. So we were thinking of going, but the tickets were 40 pounds per person, total of 80. And then we would have to charge it. And that would be an additional about 50 or 60 pounds to charge it at a charge point. And we did that once before when we went to York Park and Ride to visit York. However, when we returned that night, it didn't fully charge and we lost access to the car and having to call out our dealership to fix it.
So playing that game of chicken with the range on your EV does not sound like a fun time to me, but one of the comments from this video had me thinking, I've got no regrets with my EV. It'll run 330 miles in AC. Get a better EV. So because this guy most likely has an older model that only has about 150 miles, he should just scrap the whole thing, which means the depreciation makes it almost valueless, and now you have to go purchase a brand new one in that 300-mile range. But what kind of advances are we going to see 5 or 10 years down the road? I'm hoping 500 plus miles, 1,000 would be awesome, but then the exact same thing is going to happen with all the people buying today. But it's really starting to seem like these sales are grinding to a halt.
Why are Americans just not buying it when it comes to electric vehicles?
First of all, functionality. Obviously, EVs are terrific if you live in a very dense metropolitan area with easy access to charging stations and even a parking place that has chargers. But where it's not working is in rural America because, you know, if you're driving over 200 miles a week, this starts to become a huge problem. But the other narrative that's very problematic for the entire EV market, EV power, in other words, the cost of filling up your battery, is not free anymore.
That's also what we heard earlier. The cost of these vehicles is higher than people thought. And another comment right here, because the cars are $50,000 plus. And we have a comment from you guys. I don't like touchscreens in cars. I prefer the older push buttons. I'll never buy a new car again. The only way electric cars will sell is if they're cheaper than gas cars. Hybrids are the way for the immediate future. And I think a lot of people are realizing this now. So we are seeing a ton of vehicles from the dealerships, these salesmen, trying to push these EVs that are absolute anchors on the lots to you guys so they can make a little bit of money.
Why I regret buying a Nissan Ariya. The rims are way too cool. I wanted a boring car. Heated seats and steering wheel. I'll be way too cozy in the winter. Built in Amazon Alexa. It's too convenient.
You can kind of get the gist of this video. It's just trying to play up all the features on this Nissan EV. And if I'm going to get one in the future, I highly doubt it's going to be a Nissan at the end of the day. But the description from York Auto Group, buyer's remorse? No, fear of missing out. I could almost guarantee you're going to have some buyer's remorse if you do purchase this thing.
There's a lot of cars on our lot, but I'm going to tell you this one is my favorite. Right down here, it is a 2025 GMC Sierra EV. 0% availability on financing as well. I mean, this vehicle is amazing. All the creature features you could possibly think of, all of the comfort you could possibly think of. And look at this color.
Okay, so right off the bat, I didn't even know GMC made an EV for their Sierra after the Ford Lightning was not doing very well. Then Chevy came out with the Silverado one that's like $90,000. And I guess now GMC did the same thing. And of course, the salesman's trying to say that this is the nicest vehicle on the lot. It's so fancy and amazing that we have 0% APR financing. No, that's not a red flag at all. If it was really that nice, these would be flying off the lot, but clearly they're not. And the comments did not agree with their electric vehicle. Next year, it's it's going to be half price. They don't keep value. All GMCs are complete junk, especially the EVs. They're just gas trucks with engines ripped out, which I would say is what happened with a good amount of the manufacturers when they realized that Tesla was making a good amount of money. And these things are just sitting at the lot now, even when we're talking about the ultra luxury stuff. With the clientele that has unlimited amounts of money, they still don't want to buy them.
Mercedes is having a horrible time trying to sell the all-electric G-Wagon. This should come as no surprise to anyone, honestly. According to a Mercedes-Benz executive, the car is sitting like lead at dealers. It's a complete flop. Here you have a brand new electric G-Wagon listed for $208,000. And here you have a 2025 electric G-Wagon with only 3,000 miles listed for $152,000. So basically you drove off the lot and lost about 60 grand. Like, you should not be spending 200 grand on an all-electric car. Some dealers are doing up to $25,000 off MSRP on a brand new all-electric G-Wagon.
Now we could go over to the comments. I got a great lease deal, $2,500 down, $650 per month for 18 months. And there was a few replies that people were just calling that out because honestly, I would think that's a pretty good deal because at the end of the day, it still is a G-Wagon, but the next comment, price and range are the problem.
An anonymous Mercedes-Benz executive said that the G580 is a complete flop and they are sitting like lead at the dealerships. I can understand why he wanted to be anonymous. That is really, really intense criticism of this car. And it really is a shame because every one of these that we have sold, the clients love them. In fact, one of our most recent clients, a longtime VIP of the store who has bought every cool car you can ever think about from the Mercedes-Benz lineup, said that it's the favorite car of his that he's ever owned as a daily driver. And he's had every G-Wagon you can think of, GT Pros, all of the fun stuff. So it's not a problem of the car itself. Is it really just that consumers hate EVs?
Real quick, we can look at the comments for the problems. 250 miles for $160,000. That's the problem. The Mercedes-Benz EQS, $115,000 new. 2 years later, $35,000. Just remember that comment for a second. No one wants anything with AMG on it that's not a twin-turbo V8. Very simple. The new C63 that I think has a V6 or a 4-cylinder. Now I need to look. It is. The C63 SC Performance has a 2-liter inline 4, and they are not selling well either. But of course, this is somebody who's making commission off of these cars and will tell you that his ultra rich client who buys every cool Mercedes under the sun apparently likes the electric G-Wagon the most. Sure he does. But in the back of his mind, he 100% knows that anybody who's purchasing this is just going to have the exact same story with the EQS that he made a video about.
Somebody financed an EQ?
Yes.
What kind of EQ?
EQS 450 22.
Oh man, how much did he put down on that?
I don't know, but his payout's roughly 60. He just put branded tires on it, all 4, last month. That's one plus there, but he's looking to get into a new EQS lease.
So where'd this guy come from?
TikTok lead. I think he's in Oklahoma.
Wow. The value on this is actually scary. Holy cow, this is a lot of car for the money, like a used EQ.
Yeah, it's got pretty decent equipment on it too.
Did he buy it used?
He bought it as a loaner. Is it $36,175?
Yeah.
It's tough.
I mean,
$112,000 car.
he knows, but that's why you don't buy these. You either lease them or you buy them super used, right? There's just not enough data yet for the used EV market.
I feel like people are like scared to buy used EVs.
Yeah, because they're still very new concepts.
So he's saying that you shouldn't own the EQS because of how bad these depreciate, but go and buy the new G-Wagon EV. I get it, he's trying to do his job and make more commissions and more money, but don't be one of these people falling into the trap. And if you truly do want an EV, just at least do some research.
Hey guys, I know I just posted a video about how much, oh my god, I can't even speak. Oh my god, I can't even swallow anyway. I know I just posted a video about how good this car is. I love the Tesla, you know. The Tesla. I miss my Camry. I don't even have anywhere to put my freaking phone at in this car. This car sucks. If you went on TikTok talking about, oh my god, I love my Tesla, it's the best car ever, you're a liar. But honestly, I think Toyota screwed me over, like, because I don't live 40 miles from my freaking job. I live like max 20 miles. Tell me how I wasted 40 freaking miles. With how often I have to charge is the same as putting gas. So yeah, anyone want to buy a Tesla, please? Please buy this Tesla off me. Like, literally, I hate this car. Like, who convinced me that a Tesla is better than a freaking Camry? Who? Because you're wrong. This car sucks. It sucks. And honestly, I was trying to gaslight myself and make myself feel like this is like the best car ever just because I really wanted it. And it's like so pretty looking, but it's so bad. Like, I don't understand. Like, who genuinely likes their Tesla? What?
Okay, well that was a lot. Before I say anything, let's just go over to the comments. She definitely saw her monthly payment. Now I'm not sure what her payment could be. It might be a little bit lower because it sounds like she traded in a Toyota Camry, which in my opinion, and I guess hers, was a mistake. But here's another one. You weren't ready for a Tesla. You have to have a home charger. I agree. So this one sounds like she liked the way it looked. I think this might be a Model 3 and no other research was done other than the possible 10-15 minutes for a test drive. And now you have to deal with the consequences. Just from the background of the clip, it looked like there were palm trees, so I'm assuming warmer weather. But if she was in a cold climate, the range on these vehicles dropped drastically. So that could have been a problem right there, and the time that it takes to charge. We'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, this was a pretty dramatic example of instant regret. I asked you guys in an older video, would you buy an electric vehicle? Nope. Yes, I'd get an RC one. I thought that was pretty funny. Only if it was free. There was a lot of people saying no, and like I've said before, I'm not 100% against EVs. I just don't think the technology and infrastructure are there yet. I'd rather sit and wait on it and then possibly get a daily commuter down the road. I don't think EVs would ever take over the enthusiast space, but I just don't think it's there right now.
Let me de-influence you. Do not get an electric car. This is the worst financial decision I've ever made in my entire life. I decided I want to get a bigger car, like a Toyota Land Cruiser. So I was just looking around to see what the resale value was for my 2023 Mach-E. It's a Mustang. When I tell you that I owe $48,000 on this car and the resale value is like $20,000, some of them are $17,000, which is insane to me. I don't know what I'm going to do. I really don't know what I'm going to do because I'm stuck in this car. I'm not paying $28,000 in negative equity. That's ridiculous. And they don't tell you that when you go and buy this car, that the resale of them is really terrible. And they should tell you that. They should be, the salespeople should be upfront and honest with you about that. And some people can say, well, you should have done your research. That's not the point. The point is that if you're selling something, because I paid $58,000 after all the warranties, and because I did get extra warranty on this car because it does have a battery in it, and I didn't know what the longevity of that was. So after, tax, title fees, the warranties, it was $58,000.
You're talking almost $60,000 for a Mach-E. That is still in production right now, but with the F-150 Lightning being discontinued along with a ton of other EVs, I wouldn't doubt that it would happen to this model as well, because nobody wants one. And that's why they're selling for $17,000 to $20,000. But I think this comment from you guys goes perfectly. No one told me. Welcome to real life. The salesman didn't tell me that this thing would tank in value so quickly. But if you did any research for yourself, all new vehicles go down in value, but especially the EVs lately. That's why I think these videos are so important to make, because I understand not everybody's a car person, knows every single model that's on the road, all the new stuff that's coming out in the future, what's being discontinued, but you need to have some base level knowledge, especially if you're going to a dealership buying a new vehicle. And if not, you could get stuck in a situation like that.
I will never in my life own an electric vehicle. It's been one of the most aggravating experiences I've ever had in my life. I had to take my truck to the dealership to get some sensors fixed on the exhaust that was only supposed to take one day. Well, guess what? It took longer, so I had to end up charging this vehicle. I went to the first charging station, doesn't hook up. Went to the second charging station 20 minutes away, hooks up, turbocharge, cool. 40 minutes it takes for a turbocharge. That cost me $55. Get back into the car. It's only gonna last 243 miles. What a waste of my time. Fast forward 2 days later, still no call from the dealership, yet I'm having to charge the car yet again. Waste of my life and time. So go to the first station. None of the stations work. None of the plugins work. So go to the second one, 5 miles away. Cool. 3 of them are not working. The last one finally works. So now I'm gonna sit here and wait 40 minutes and spend another $55
But at least she could give it back at the end of the day. She doesn't have to deal with this constantly, because I have heard that charging stations are an issue. Whether there's lines and lines of vehicles waiting to charge, that'll still take 30 minutes to an hour, and some stations will just be broken so you can't even use them. Adding on the compatibility issues depending on what brand EV you buy, this really does seem like a nightmare to me, and more people have had this problem than you think. My loaner car is 100% electric. I don't own an electric car. I don't have a garage charger, so this is fun. Didn't realize how long these things take to charge. Again, just like the last clip, at least it's a loaner, but we've seen several examples of people purchasing these vehicles not knowing how long it's going to charge, or they just expect because it's electricity and not gas that it's free, which is not the case either. We got another comment from you guys right here. My friend bought an EV that he bragged about, but then he had to buy another gas car. He traveled to Vancouver and visited his sister and had to spend almost a whole day finding and waiting in line for a fast charger.
Drive a Tesla from Oregon to Arizona, they said. It'll be fine, they said. This is me every 2 hours.
Bought an electric car 3 days ago. I've had to charge it every day. Oh, nothing, just charging for the 10th time this week, and it's only Wednesday. Poor car is always dead or dying with 24 miles left and a 10% charge. I know I keep saying the same thing, but there was no research done, especially if you're traveling long distances. I mean, I just don't understand, and here's even more examples. Hidden Tesla costs that no one tells you about. Insurance and registration fees can be higher in some states. We've seen that before. Home charger installation can be expensive depending on your home electrical setup, and upgrades like full self-driving and premium connectivity are optional but require monthly subscriptions. This is the information that nobody tells you, nobody talks about. Seems like pretty base level knowledge if I was looking up an electric vehicle, but I guess that's just too much to ask for in today's day and age. It's not like we all have smartphones in our pocket and can find the answer to virtually anything in an instant. And we got another comment from you guys right here. Apparently I did more research last night before I bought a scented candle on Amazon than many people do before they spend $50,000. I couldn't have really said it better myself.
I just got married. I didn't expect this to happen.
A lot of people didn't expect to be stuck with $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in negative equity. I know you are trying to sell your 2019 Tesla Model 3 Performance, 100K miles, you owe $35,500. You got a 7% interest rate and you're paying a whopping $1,039 a month.
I bought the car back in 2022. I had a Honda Accord. I think I had about $10,000 in positive equity, so I used that as a down payment. The loan was $59,999 for 72 months.
You ended up trading for a Tesla?
Yeah, I bought it from CarMax back in 2022. I can afford the payment. After taxes, I make about $4,500 a month.
How much are you paying for insurance in the car?
About $200.
Technically, it's $1,200 a month. I'm not saying you can't afford it. It's definitely not worth what you're paying. How is your credit score right now?
Plus 711, 710, something
like
that.
Awesome. So you got really good credit. Do you have any money down at all to put towards a new vehicle?
I could put like 2 or 3K down, but I'm trying to save for a house. We don't really want to pull from that.
Honestly, man, if you're getting offers for 15K, which is typically what this car is worth at 100,000 miles, the only way to get out of it is pay the difference. If you owe 35 and you're getting 15, you got $20,000 in negative equity.
Over $1,000 a month for 72 months, all for a Model 3, and it's got 100,000 miles on it already. And just like the first clip, they already had a solid, reliable car. They traded in a Honda Accord for this Tesla. The first one traded in a Camry. You already had something that was great, and you traded it in for one that's now $20,000 in the hole. Unreal.
Boy, I tell you what, do not buy an electric car unless you can afford $8,000 or so to have a supercharger put into your home garage. I don't have a house, so that's not even an option for me. But I went to go charge my car, and there was one guy waiting before me, so cool, I wait. And I see him get out, and he's talking to this other guy, and this guy is saying how one of the cars has been there fully charged, and the person is nowhere to be found. I sat there for 20 minutes until this lady finally came to get her car, and then I had to give her the business. I think I was pretty nice, no cussing, but no consideration for other people's time whatsoever. And she gets there and she's like messaging on her phone, and I was like, you need to get in your car and go. You need to be more considerate of people's time. This is absolutely ridiculous.
I don't know though, if you bought an EV and didn't get a home charger, I don't think you're really considerate of your own time. I'm not saying what the woman did was right, but it's just another problem that you're gonna have to deal with when you gotta go to the charging stations. And then the $8,000 was pretty nuts. Unless you're running a 1,000-foot cable and installing 4 home chargers in your house, there's no way it cost $8 grand. And the creator responds, $8,000 is what I've been told from people who had to install them in their homes. And this is for a supercharger, not a slow charger. That still seems nuts That's the next comment. No one pays $8,000 for a home charger. Home chargers cost $350. What are you talking about? And we got another comment from you guys. I want to save money on gas, so I spend double on the car payments. Because that's the reasoning we've seen some people buying EVs. Again, like I've said before, some people think that the electricity is free. You don't have to pay to charge. But the monthly car payment for 60, 72, 84 months now, adding on insurance and the whole host of car depreciation you're getting, I don't think outweighs the cost of gas, even right now.
By the way, one fun fact talking about EVs, we don't have this in here, but Tesla announced today that in California, sales were down 24% in Q2, year over year.
Which brings us beautifully to the Mercedes-Benz story, which I want to go back to this in a second. But Mercedes-Benz announced this week, that they're no longer going to sell any of the EQ products in North America. This isn't global, but in North America.
And they produce the SUVs in North America. So they're going to export vehicles that they build in the U.S. to other countries that might be interested in buying an EQE SUV and an EQS SUV.
They will. Anyone who's ordered one that's supposed to come in before September is still getting it. So the 6 of you listening that maybe fit that scenario, be rest assured. However, they're going to stop. It's like Jaguar. They're just going to take some time off and let's see what happens.
The truth is, no person has ordered one, but there are still tens of thousands of orders flooding into dealerships that the dealerships do not want under any circumstances. I go to these Mercedes-Benz dealerships and they've got EQ products parked on any surface, any flat surface they can find. I mean, it's like a disaster.
Because if you don't know these models, they are very expensive. The EQSs are supposed to be the electric S-Class, retailing for $100,000 to $120,000. Even with all the rebates and incentives, people don't want them. And that's made very clear on the secondhand market. Used ones go for about $40,000, $50,000, losing legitimately more than half of its value in a year or two. It's crazy. And we'll move on to another reason why people are purchasing EVs. Some believe that you don't need to do any maintenance whatsoever. I guess because they've heard online that you don't need to do oil changes like a normal car, that you wouldn't need to do anything else whatsoever as well. They don't have any problems. Nothing's gonna go wrong. You'll just purchase the car, charge it, and you're good to go. And that's just not happening. Modern vehicles across the board are all having problems.
Polestar does not care if they sell you a defective car. Our client Eric leased a 2023 Polestar 2. In the first 18 months, the car was in the shop 5 times for the same issue: the infotainment screen and the backup camera failing. Eric thought he could just reach out to the manufacturer and they would do the right thing. He explained how he had been a loyal customer and that if they refunded his money, he'd likely use it to get another Polestar. Customer service told him that they take these concerns seriously, but Eric was about to find out that Polestar does not care if they actually sell you a piece of crap. Polestar finally got back to him and said, after an investigation, a repurchase of his vehicle was not warranted. Eric had done everything he could do to avoid a lawsuit, and Polestar tried to play him. After that denial, Eric dug deeper, came across our channel, and he reached out to us. And here is the irony. By refusing him then, Polestar exposed themselves to civil penalties. This case will likely end with Polestar buying back his car and paying him somewhere close to double his money back.
And he better not take that money and go buy yet another Polestar. If you don't know what that brand is, it's just an offshoot of Volvo and they only make EVs. I feel like I've seen 2 or maybe 3 on the road in my entire life. That's another one where I just don't see them pushing through. The sales must be awful.
We have a client that's trying to trade in their Cybertruck. It's supposed to be a 24 Founders Edition. That's pretty crazy. This Cybertruck is so heavy. It ripped off some of our fresh asphalt over here. You used to have a big chunk over here. Pretty cool. I've never seen one of these in person up close. Always seen them afar, but every time I see it at the auction, no one buys them. They just keep piling up. These things are sitting. Looking at about days in stock at about at least 150 days, so they're not selling. And the client wants to trade up out of her car because they keep getting harassed in this vehicle, which is a shame because to spend this much money and to lose so much in such a short time period. Very typical Tesla. I'm not surprised about the quality. It's nice quality, but it's too odd looking. I'm not crazy about the look of these. It's definitely unique, but I think for the price point, I would take a Rivian over this. This is unique too, but I don't know. I don't want to drive around something that kind of resembles a dumpster truck.
In the same way we see people buying EVs in general just to hop on the trend, people did it with the Cybertruck as well. It was crazy looking, intentionally ugly. And now that the hype has died down and nobody cares about it, surprise, surprise, nobody's buying either. These were also very expensive, 70, 80, even 100,000 plus. And just in a couple years, you're taking a crazy hit on depreciation.
So when I purchased my EV from Cadillac, they were offering free charges if you used EVgo. And I was like, cool. Of course, I had no experience with electric vehicle charging. I didn't know anything about the different places you could charge. but it's free for 3 years. And so immediately I was like, yeah, I'll choose that. They ended up giving me the home charger as well, but this is fast charging. So I'm so happy that they finally got an EVgo charger in Bakersfield, because the first year that we had the car, there were no EVgos here. Everything was out of town.
Okay, so because she got lucky and one of these popped up, now she could actually use one of the many incentives the Cadillac dealership gave her because nobody's buying these either. If you haven't seen the Cadillac EVs, they are wildly expensive, sitting on dealership lots like all the others, but she got a home charger for free and she's not using it. She'd rather go over here and sit at the fast charger. I mean, obviously it's faster, but it'd be a lot easier to charge in your garage when you're just at home. So I didn't really understand that, along with yet again, somebody doing zero research before buying. I didn't know anything about the electric chargers, had no experience, while spending 5 or 6 figures again is just crazy to me. And this comment goes perfectly with it. Not knowing that you have to go and charge your EV and how long it takes is wild. But we got another one of the incentives going away, at least in California, where EVs are very popular, making it even less of a good deal than it already has become.
Why are they doing this? California just announced a new tax policy that's only going to affect you if you drive an electric car, and the internet is already freaking out about it. Slowly but surely, EVs are on the rise in the US. California is leading the way with over 25% of new vehicles bought last year being electric. And of course the state government is all for it, but what they aren't so happy about is all that gas tax revenue they're missing out on. So earlier this year, California launched a new project to bring in tax revenue in a different way from those EV drivers. The solution they landed on was a per mile road tax, and boy is it controversial. You see, right now, for every gallon of gas sold in Cali, about 61 cents goes towards keeping the state's roads maintained. And obviously, as more people go electric, they're getting less money. To replace that revenue, California wants to charge EV drivers between 2 and 4 cents for every mile they drive. And it seems like a pretty fair rate, but people are going crazy about how to implement it. First off, questions arise about privacy. How is the state meant to track every single mile you drive? And how are they supposed to know if that mile was in California or New Mexico? Is it a mandatory tracking device in every car? Thousands of toll cameras? Either way, it's going to be expensive. And then who's supposed to manage all that personal data? Can it then be used for things other than taxes?
Okay, so we got a lot to go over from this one. First off, the chart with the EV sales in California going up to 25%. Just keep that in mind for a little bit later. But now all the electric vehicles are going to be taxed just like normal cars to improve the roadways apparently, and I thought this comment went perfectly, and none of that tax revenue will go to fixing the roads. It'll magically go missing. Wouldn't be surprised. And the other thing is being tracked. They could basically do this with any modern car now with the amount of technology, but if they do implement this stuff and put it in a database, that just means one day it's going to be hacked, or they're going to openly sell it for profit, selling your data to companies like everyone else does. Another comment here, EVs already higher registration. My Tesla Model Y is $600 and my Lightning is $1,200 for registration. I don't know, that one's not looking good at all, but we'll move on.
Trading in this car? You want to sell it to me?
I'm going to tell you something you already know.
Yeah.
It's dropping faster than stale biscuit.
It has 11,000 miles, right?
It's got 11,000. It's a 24.
That's the original paint or it's wrapped?
The original paint, but I put the crazy graphics on.
I'm going to scan it. I'm going to show you the instant offer right now. So the instant offer is $65,250. I'd be willing to do the 65.
A little low.
I know.
What if I wanted to leave it here and let you sell it?
Yeah, let's do that.
How would you do that?
I'll put it online and I'll give you more than 65. I'll give you 67 if I could sell it for like 72.9.
Fair.
All right, so I appreciate you coming in, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Too, bud.
Hopefully we can do a deal later.
I don't know. I don't see anybody buying an orange EV Hummer with graphics on it as well. But we'll go over to the comments. Sold for $120,000 new. A year later, it's worth $65,000. I still can't get over some of the examples of people paying way over MSRP when it first came out, $200,000-$300,000 for that thing. And now you can get them for $60,000. I'm looking right here, 7,000 miles for $62,000, 59,000 here, another 62, 63,000. And they're only going down from there.
The most depreciating car I've ever seen in all of my career. The sticker's $215,000. That means after they paid sales tax and license and registration, they were probably $230 something out the door. It's got every conceivable option. All the upgrades, carbon fiber everywhere, the upgraded rims, the paint. And it's only had one owner. The guy has taken meticulous care of it. It's a 2021, but it's got 90,000 miles. The thing is, the car literally has one imperfection. It's got a little wear. That's it. The dude babied this thing. There's not a scratch. There's not a mark. Just that one little thing on the inside of the door. So guess what we're selling this car for without the battery warranty? So $235,000 out the door. Perfect condition, one owner, clean title, clean Carfax. Literally, it got off the truck, we washed it, that's it. $74,000.
For a $90,000 EV. No way would I be taking that. And personally, I actually really like the way it looks. I wish that's what the Panamera looked like. But this entire video was just a sales pitch to try to get this 90,000 mile EV off of their lot. Look up used Mercedes EQSs, $100,000 new but 2 years old, with 30,000 miles are just $35,000. We talked about that one before. Why do electric cars depreciate so fast? 90,000 mile EV for $71K. These are going for $40,000 on Auto Tempest. That's a $40,000 car, bro. 90,000 miles, LOL. No, he didn't baby this thing. And that was in 4 to 5 years. $74,000 spoken like it was a deal for a 90K mile Taycan. Again, like I said, I actually really like the way it looks, but because it's an EV, it's just going to sit on the lot.
Speaking of regrets, can we talk about the ID Buzz? We had an ID Buzz on the site the other day. By the way, I love the ID Buzz. I think it's the coolest car on sale. We had a first edition on the site the other day. Scroll down. How many miles were on this vehicle? This 1,800. Basically a new car. Where is it? Was that Wisconsin? Indiana. It was bid to and did not sell for 42,000 United States dollars. The sticker on this was what, 80?
65.
65 for a first edition?
67 including destination, yeah.
Yikes. Now, normally I'd look at this and say, cars and bids, what a horrible company. They can't even get anywhere near a sticker. I would say that. But I've been on Auto Trader.
You've seen what sticker is.
Let me tell you something. There are dealers with brand new ones that have never been sold to anybody that are asking not much more than this.
Nope.
Needless to say, the ID Buzz hasn't really been the rip-roaring success we were all hoping for. Maybe because the bid to price is where the sticker price should have been.
And also, they should have had the short version. And maybe they should have had more than the 200 miles of range it has.
And if you don't know, the ID Buzz was discontinued in the US. So that means any of the sales that they actually had are just going to drop even lower. It's because it's electric, hybrid would have been killer. The range is so sad for the price as well. It needs to have 300 plus mile range and start at $10,000 less. And that's why they're not here anymore. But let's go back to California with this clip.
Some of these dealers, especially in California, are going to start getting like 80 to 85 EV lease returns a month.
Geez, next year we're going to go from 60,000 EV lease returns a year, somewhere closer to 300,000. It'll be over 1 million over the next few years. What are we seeing now?
Yeah, I've had 2 Highline dealers reach out to me separately about lease returns coming back in and what they are going to be doing. One of them, frankly, just flat out said that the OEM doesn't want them and they don't want them either, not just because they don't like the car. Some of these dealers, especially in California, are going to start getting like 80 to 85 EV lease returns a month.
Jeez.
So just naturally, any type of car, like you don't want to even get 80 X3s in 1 month. That's just too much of one vehicle because dealers like to keep a variety in their used cars.
So I'd like to go back to that chart earlier showing that EV sales were up in California. I'd like to know if that included these leases instead of just purchases, because now everybody's giving the lease back. And from what we've seen in this video, the secondhand market is a war zone. You think the dealership lots are bad now, it's going to get a whole lot worse. And here we got another clip up on screen right now. Please buy this Mustang Mach-E GT for $14,500 under sticker. I bet my owner I could sell it before the end of the month. What's the MSRP? $60,000. Goes almost perfectly with the earlier Mach-E clip that in just a year or two it'll only be worth about $17,000 to $20,000. So even that $45,000 sticker price doesn't seem too great. Mark another $15,000 off because you started $25,000 over MSRP. I have one of those as a rental car. It's absolutely horrible. Get me out of my Bronco from hell and I'll come get it tomorrow. Just a whole host of bad financial decisions. You're most likely underwater in another overpriced Bronco with a ton of problems, and you're going to put that negative equity into an already terrible Mustang Mach-E. What could go wrong? But even with everything that we've seen in this video, there are some manufacturers that just are not listening and still pumping these things out.
Of all places, we're at the junkyard right now, and I think I just spotted the new Jeep Cherokee. There is no badging on it, so I'm not sure how to tell.
I think it's the Jeep Recon EV. It is. The all-electric Jeep Recon with an MSRP around $65,000 to $67,000 for just the base model, and then it goes up to around $70,000 to $73,000 for higher trims. For a Stellantis EV, you think the Mustang Mach-E clips are bad? In a couple years, we're going to see people get rinsed with this Recon, and I'll definitely be making videos about it when the time comes. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.